So that's where Ken Gordon came in to help us in Trinidad Express, because he had just taken over the Express at one time. So he knew our trials and tribulations and what we were going through. And all blessings to him. He helped Harold and Fred. Sir Fred went to see him, and he agreed to print the paper. So we had to leave here on Tuesday with BWA, go to Trinidad, and come back on Friday. And each person, after working the following day about 9 or 10 or whatever amount of hours, you then had to load up your car. And I had a brand new, no, I lied. I had bought a second-hand car from my same advertising manager, the advocate, Mr. Jackman, for $1,600. You know what was $1,600 back in those days, Gercine? And I would load that up till you watch the shocks as you're loading, you know, to make sure you don't break the shocks, because that's a big thing in those days. And I had a 2 route right down the side. A2 is this, the highway. But it wasn't as pretty as it is now. It wasn't Barbara Green, it was rough. So that was my route to go and deliver papers after working. So all of us had it. Thank God it didn't last too long. I think it was about maybe 7 months, 8 months. But every day was painful in the nation. When I say painful, of hard work. And but eventually we got a van and we started to do our own distribution. So that was it. So you had to be salesman, you had to be copywriter, you had to be creative, you had to look for all kinds of artwork and things. And then you had to go and distribute the papers. It was fun.
But from a content point of view, what was the content like? What sort of editorial matter?
The content from the visionaries, the content was to reflect Barbados and things Barbadian. It was to reflect us. When I was at the Advocate, you would read something about cow in Vietnam, and this in Malaysia, and this in the United States and Great Britain, and everything going on in Barbados is not reflected. So I think that was the genesis of it, and that's what caused the anger among our leaders to get a newspaper going. Because remember, the Daily News had failed because of financial whatever. So people were hesitant. If that failed, and a lot of white people involved in that, how these black boys can get through with this nation thing. So there are a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of pain. I mean, I can't tell you all of it here. A lot of it is written in our books. But I'm glad that I was there to be part of all of it. The good, the bad, the indifferent, whatever. I have no regrets about it. A lot of people would ask me, didn't you think the nation was going to fail? And Gercine, the truth is, when I joined, I was too busy. I didn't have time to think about failure. That's honest. God will be my judge. I did not think about failure. It was just go, 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 go. Something will happen. We will get through. You know, and that's how it went.
What were some of your, or what are some of your outstanding memories from your tenure
As advertising manager?
as advertising
Well,
manager?
one is getting the court's account. That stands out in my mind in terms of solid business. Then the relationship I started to build up with the advertising agencies, Corbin, Compton. Mike Williams was a gem of an executive. Mike supported the newspaper from day one. And he would every year call me and say, Wilfred, get your pen and paper, especially the Independence ad. And he would give me something like 28 bookings. He had the most clients at one time. So that relationship I treasure. Up to this day, we still talk. The nation getting accounts. I think whenever I managed to persuade an agency or a big client to advertise with us on a long-term basis, I think that was a tremendous achievement. And winning over clients with my circulation figures, etc. Those are some of the memories that I remember.
How did you first get into the business as a young man? How did you start?
Advertising? I started working at C.F. Harrison's as what I call him now, not coffee boy. I work at C.F. Harrison's.
How old
Cash
were you
boy.
then?
I was about 14 years old. Then my brother Michael called me to work with Advertising and Publicity Service Limited, which was run by Edzard Walter Peter Zelinka. You would remember him. He was the German consul to Barbados.
Yeah.
So I was over there as a copy boy, and then he told me that they wanted a person at the Advocate, and that was a position of clerk, planning the pages and positioning the ads on these little pages like that. And then I did that for a couple of months, and then I got promoted to junior salesman and then senior salesman. And when I got to senior salesman and got all the experience and met all these people, that's when the nation came out. And that's why Jackie was so annoyed with me. And then when Stephen approached me, I told him yes. So that's basically the steps of my career. Learning all along from everybody that I met. I watch everything and I learn every single thing. And I've been given a lot of advice from a lot of white Barbadians, black Barbadians, Indians. Everybody gave me advice. A lot of people also told me I was crazy because why would I leave a secure company to go and join something that you're not sure of? But I was sure of me. I was sure of me. And I didn't have any time to look back. And that's the truth. I didn't. Otherwise I would have run back to Jackie fast enough. But I just would not do it. The nation just had to succeed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But would you say you met a lot of detractors along the way?
I met a few detractors, including my own flesh and blood. But again, the more I met detractors, the more I knew that we were on the right road. I cannot explain it. Only my Father in heaven would tell me. I remember when Harold and I would go and meet with advertising agencies, and they would give you some negatives. You can turn a chair. Negative feedback, etc. We would all whisper to one another, "We're on the right track." Or we would say, "We're going the right road," because it was always negative. You got to do this. You don't do that. People don't want to read this. People want to read that. These are people in advertising that don't know anything about journalism, and so whenever they tried to put us down, we knew that we were on the right track, and that was a little personal joke we had between ourselves. But yeah, I had my fair share of it. But I was offered many jobs. Every day, you know, I want somebody like you, my good friend, with one of the biggest restaurant. You know, said, "Man, I would love you to work for us." When I did his newspaper supplement, but I told him, "No, man, ink in my blood, not food."